And I'll give you a countdown. You are live in three, two, one.
Boobs, abs, butts. Let's talk about all of that business. And we're going to talk about fan service and anime. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Otaku Movie Anatomy.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
This
Oh my god.
music.
It's so
insane.
nostalgic. I hope people actually remember this, and
know.
whoever's like under 20 that's watching this probably has no clue what this
clue.
is.
They didn't really re-release it on Hulu or anything, did they?
Never.
No. This is one of
It's
those
not
like
bad.
good nostalgia animes that we'll never ever see. It's not like a Cowboy Bebop who's going to get who gets like a Blu-ray release every 2 years. Like Lavina is now dead in the annals of history of anime. So
Gosh, guys. So
sad times.
thank you guys for coming in and watching Otaku Movie Anatomy. Name TBD. We're trying to change it. Let us know what we should change the name of the show
If
to.
you have any
Give us suggestions.
suggestions?
Yeah, be sure to subscribe, rate, and comment on iTunes. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on that YouTube's and follow us on Twitter at The Popcorn Talk. I'm your host today, Chubby Bunny Michelle. You can find me everywhere on the internet. I am Chubby Bunny, and today we are joined by our regular crew.
I am Yume, also known as Yume Warlock, but you can find me on Twitter at Yume Ninja because I could not change it.
And I'm Max Song, as you well know, and you can find me at Max Salts at the everything, Instagram, whatever. I have a cat now, so you're gonna see a shit ton of cat pictures.
Can we have a cat episode? Can you guys bring in your cats and we'll put them on the table with toys, or will they destroy us?
My cat will probably
My cats
hide
will not
instantaneously.
They're not camera friendly.
Oh no, guys, we are live in chat. Also, if you go down to the bottom and comment, we can see it in the chat box and we can talk directly to you through the internet. Let us know if you
technology.
want a cat episode where we get destroyed, or if you have an idea for the new name of our show, because our new format is talking about
Themes.
Just
anime
everything
in
about
general.
anime,
Yeah.
anime culture, anime opinions. I'm very happy that we get to do this episode where we
Yeah.
talk about fan service and like
Yep.
what it does in like the global scope of anime.
whoa, Jesus
Yes.
Christ, guys.
Service anime.
So we are talking about fan service. Let's dig in a little bit. If you don't know what fan service is, you don't even like anime, and you should get out and stop watching us.
Yeah.
Yeah. If somehow you're a person that has watched anime for more than a year and you have somehow not like seen fan service, you must be blind.
Yep.
Like you're actually not watching it. Like even listening to it, you can tell that it's fan service. So there's really no way that you don't know what the
Wouldn't
hell
know,
we're talking about.
It's insane that you wouldn't know fan service at this
so,
point.
viewers, if you haven't noticed by now, our new tone for the show is cruel and angry at you.
Which is fine. Which is how anime fans should be.
Yeah, let us
obviously.
let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with us. We'd love to fucking know.
And we are looking at chat, so feel free to jump in the
I'm-
chat and tell us that we're wrong, even though you're wrong.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I
guys.
feel like that's the best titles.
best.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
We're just gonna roll and roll negative here. All right, let's go. So what is fan service, y'all? You may know it as the little bits of anime that are there to intentionally please the audience. Wikipedia had a really thorough as fuck description of what fan service was. So the term originated for Japanese media, but it's been around for ages in all sorts of manner of films.
Yeah.
Before that, it's giving fans exactly what they want, which is vague as fuck.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what fans want is something that's sort of a little sexually suggestive. It's giving them. It's called gratuitous titillation.
Yes.
It's intertextual references also, so it could be fan service could also be like, hey, you guys really like my last work, and I'm gonna have a cameo of Asuka in this in the background, something
Yeah.
more like
Whoa.
that can also be fan service. But for the purposes of this episode, we're talking more about the sexual innuendos. Typical fan service can be things like nudity, any kind of eye candy, if it's just somebody in a maid costume, varying states of undress.
Upskirt shots.
Yes.
Yes.
That's-
Accidental,
Yeah.
accidental exposure. You would call that.
One of my favorite is called Etchy Wind. It's where the wind blows up skirts and they go, Kia!
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, wow, that was unnecessary.
And confusingly, it's not just about seeing the panties. It's about the springtime of youth is how
Yeah.
what that represents, which is for a Western audience confusing if you are not a big weeb like we all are.
Yeah.
And then also there can be things like the jiggling of boobies, which I'm going to say boobies instead of breasts because that's how I roll.
Yeah, boobies.
Known as
Very
the
mature.
Gainax bounce.
Gainax bounce. I mean,
Yeah,
the Gainax
it's
bounce
true.
is famous.
The-
Let's be honest. To be fair, I feel like breast physics animation shouldn't be something that they necessarily take forever, because I feel like Madhouse has always done breasts a
Yes.
little bit better. Like to begin with, like Ninja Scroll is a very good example. You're like, grade A animation of breasts seems realistic. I never knew when I first watched it because I had never known what breasts were really like. But now I know better. I would have to say, pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, so the boobs of the anime females tend to move in the way that physics does not allow in real life.
Yeah.
But fan service can also be such things as going trips to the onsen or to the beach that we see characters in bathing suits.
Yeah, you have your
Indeed.
stereotypical beach episode
Yes.
or onsen episode.
Osen,
Yes.
those episodes are always trash.
Those are always, that is definitely fan service episodes.
But I always look forward to them.
Yeah.
I look forward to the
'Cause
trash.
You know, because you know it's like
You know it's coming.
it's a part of the meta. I don't know why
Yeah.
it's called the meta of anime, like the formula of anime. Usually have it as sort of this weird breather episode. I think the problem was when anime was first coming to America, that type of stuff wasn't really allowed. So one standout example that I remember is Outlaw Star, because Outlaw Star.
Wasn't even on Earth.
I mean, it's very like, it was like titillating for a good portion of it. There's a lot of fan service in it, obviously. But there's one episode that's missing, and it's actually ridiculously integral to the plot because there's these things called caster shells, which are like super rare weapons, and they get it at this planet of, it's like an onsen planet, so it's like they're mixing the two, and so you take that episode out, and all of a sudden he has all this shit and is talking about things you have no context
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
There are some times when that is actually necessary.
It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so fan service exists not only to see the ladies kind of titillating you, but also see the men's. We have a little compilation image of just some random anime we thought of. So for males, for straight males who like women, there's a lot of anime like Keijo is out, Queen's Blade, To Love Ru. I don't know what that is.
To Love Ru.
To review is
Oh, To Love You. Okay. Ru.
It's called Ru because one of the characters'
Her
name
name
is
is
in
Ru,
there.
yeah.
Okay. High School of the Dead. And then for females, there's lots of stuff, but just two really big examples that are popular right now are that Iwatobi Swing Club Free and Yuri on Ice, which was very big last season. There are sometimes anime that do favor both the genders. There's Shokugeki no Soma, the Food Wars. And then we have mechs in here in the category. I didn't write that.
That was me.
Sexy mechs.
It's
I thought they
for
were girls.
anyone that's a mech out there, or they
right.
they identify as mech. Their
Sexy mechs.
Godonner is one of the probably only series where they have like bouncing breasts on giant robots.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, go ahead and try, nerds.
You might as well. I mean,
Yeah.
like they have like these fucking like boob cannons or whatever, but they're like they're 50 stories tall. They're just like fighting other 50-story tall robots, but still Gainax bounce.
Yeah.
Ridiculous breast
Robot.
size, etc.,
I'm
etc.
watching now, which is cool. So there's a lot of people out there who are really pro fan service, and then a lot of people who are really anti fan service. And we're here to tell y'all that there's both sides to the coin.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start with Max. Gonna tell us about why fan service can be a good thing sometimes.
I think like fan service is good if it's used as a comedic element, and I think the standout example is Love Hina. It's one of the old school anime that
fucking
we had of
picture,
our
it's great.
10 anime that we were able to watch in America when we were younger. Love Hina is definitely sort of the quintessential harem anime. Kind of set up the formula, and basically the main character's whole thing is like he's very clumsy, and so he doesn't like undress these women like for fun. It's just something that happens accidentally, and
oh,
it's
I
a part
fell.
of his it's
Yeah.
a part of his character. It's sort of in a weird way the thing, because he's like a nice guy. That is his only one mistake / curse, and he knows it. Like he doesn't necessarily like it either. It's just this weird, like they've kind of turned it as a part of the character building and the world itself, where it's kind of like weirdly okay. But it's always like used as this kind of like, oh, he's a nice guy, but he's also kind of an asshole who always like addresses women. Not that he's doing it on purpose, but so there's always like that tension behind it, which is me obviously overanalyzing the hell out of this because like it kind of deserves that much reason. There's not really a good reason for fan fiction per se. I personally don't think. But at the same time, it also doesn't matter so much, depending on the series, to where it's a big negative, I would feel like. At least in this particular example.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, that's, I think, as, like, a comedic device. Like, for instance, there's a lot of shows out there where, like, It's Always Sunny, Danny DeVito being nude or whatever. Like, that is a funny thing. Like, you know, there's...
But that's not a sexy
That's
thing.
not a sexy thing. Sure.
Let's
that's
be fair.
not.
He looks like a potato with a head on.
Yeah. But the whole thing is, it's like using like the like physical sexual comedy is a thing that is been strewn throughout, you know, all of our media culture, regardless of whatever, you know, like country it comes from.
Right.
So yeah.
And then Yume has a lot of really good examples. I actually took out my part because he had so many great ones. I just wanted you to keep talking. It's
So
good.
like in terms of like fan service anime that is still great anime, I think it always boils down to how aware they are of the fan service and what they're using it for. The greatest example I think is Kill la Kill. It is exceptionally heavy on the fan service, but like a lot of these, you'll see that it's very not one way or the other. Like the costumes are alive and they change into these hypers. The stronger you are, the hyper like revealing they are, and it doesn't matter if it's a girl who wears it or a guy. It's revealing on them. That is just the purpose of the uniform.
And really, see, the thing is, like, Trigger basically used it as this device where it's not about them being naked. It's about people that are clothed and not clothed.
Yeah.
So you'll see the rebellion, if you will. I forget what they're called.
Nudist Beach.
Nudist Beach.
Nudist Beach.
Their whole thing is, like, they don't wear clothing because clothing in this world is this thing that, like, controls your free will. Right? And so it's like you're freeing yourself from it. So there's sort of like that symbolic element, but also, once again, it's a part of the world building.
Yeah, and then they do have the gratuitous like fan service, like the boobs jiggle when they get very hyper revealing outfits, and there's like thongs. There's this gratuitous butts, but it's both sides. When the dudes wear it, you see their cracks and their pecs and the girls. And I think outside of that, it is generally a very well written and hyper stylized anime. That's what wins it. The focus is not so much on how sexy we can make this, but even there's times where like the costume changes and everybody in the crowd will call it out, like, oh my god, why is that outfit that way? They basically address that. Yes, this is fucking ridiculous. Another standout one is basically Shokugeki no Soma or Food Wars. I think one could argue that outside of just like whenever things are delicious, people's clothes explode or they feel like they're nakedly romping inside this food, the food animation itself is a service. It's hyper stylized, like there's so much detail into it. It's basically made so that the person watching it wants to eat.
It's food porn,
it's
basically.
food porn. I've never watched an episode of Shokugeki where I wasn't hungry. I had to be eating something, otherwise I would get hungry. And it's just part of that, like, it's not the thing that you're watching. It's part of something that moves the plot forward, and it's funny. It's a very lighthearted way to look at it.
Yeah, and it's extra. I mean, like, the characters don't have to be actually naked to show that the food is that good. But because it's like, it's literally orgasmic food, it's funny. It's funny, but it's also interesting about the food that it makes you do that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you gotta understand, like, these are basically shonen animes. No matter what, you know, these are geared towards young men. You know? And so, I think there's this level of, like, yes, I don't feel like all young men need that in their anime. Like, maybe that was an older traditional thing, like when like America's obsession with Playboy for a while and like Hustler and things like that. You know, that used to be like kind of not pornographic, more like almost artistic, but a little raunchy, a little risque. You know, and it's just sort of like these styles that are evolving, because I feel like as we get older and as the audience gets older, we want more things with substance, and clearly these kind of like mix the two. it's great because it goes for younger audiences, but it's also great because it kind of goes for adult audiences.
Yeah.
You know, everyone that's seen Soma that I've recommended, like, people love it.
People love it.
People
Yeah.
love it.
Food is universal, but also because it doesn't just show like girls being kind of undressed.
Yes.
It shows
It's
boys.
boys, yeah.
It's
Like
boys,
one of
yeah.
the main like supporting characters just runs around in an apron and like sweet abs, and you're like,
like Nishiki senpai, like Nishiku is his name. It basically it does that thing again where it's like he just runs around with like a funidoshi and an apron, and people are like, "Why are you wearing just an apron?" And he never addresses it.
Yeah,
He's just like,
even
"Nope, this is who I am."
Yeah, even the chairman, right? Like his whole thing is like his whole thing is like if you make really great food, he just undresses. And he's just like this unrealistic like body of muscle and mass for like what I don't know, like an 80-year-old man or something, you know? So it's like this it works because they know how ridiculous it is, and they play to the strength of it being ridiculous.
yeah.
You know?
But to be fair though, like even in Soma, like when at least in this year's, because they show both genders being kind of undressed, when the men are undressed, it's comedy, and when the girls are undressed, it's it's sexy.
sexual.
So
It's
it's
yeah.
it's a
I
little
mean,
unfortunate, but at
yeah.
the same time, there are titles that are just aimed towards women where the men are being undressed is sexy.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is a different thing though. But in
Yeah.
this case, it is the men being undressed is
And
funny.
I feel like the women, it's like sexy, but also like it is still very much like realistic. Not realistic. Did I say realistic? That's a dumb way to put it.
When I
it's
run
very
in, my clothes fly off
comedic.
all the time.
Yeah,
It's
it's
comedic.
comedic.
Yeah.
You know, like even for the women, it's comedic. Though it is, I think there's this idea because they like it seems like they put like way more work into it. You know, because for them it's like a weird sexy thing, but at the same time it's like they're covered in like fucking onions, or they're they're like dancing with the duck man. You know, like there's.
It's still a certain amount of comedy. I think the last one for me that I listed is one that I think is up for argument, but it's Prison School. Prison School, at first glance, looks very much like it's specifically targeted at only men who want to see these kind of like sexy, hyper sexy situations happen to these other women. But it's literally like, I would compare it to basically like South Park. It's very much so ridiculous in the sense that like, yes, there are times where like they go to the school where there's only 4 boys, and these 4 boys are then put into prison, which is super unrealistic.
Yeah.
Inside the school, and the like student council is basically punishing them for being men, but these guys also try to manipulate these women to do like squats, or one of the girls thinks that one of the dudes sees her peeing, and so it gets her upset. And so they kind of put them in these situations where the men sometimes have the upper hand, and yes, the women are seen as sexual objects, but on the other hand, the women there, they kind of take back control and punish the men and treat them like kind of like objectify the men in like that they're trash and they're just meant to be beneath women.
But they're also trash. Like those 4 dudes
those
are
4 dudes
basically
are trash.
the whole thing
We've
is
judged
like,
them. They're
that,
trash.
that work in general is like this world of just ridiculous people.
Yes.
Like not even people. They're just these caricatures of like. I think the good thing is they play on these archetypes that you see that kind of associate with fan service. You know, because it's not. They're not necessarily always characters of substance. Sometimes they are literally just there for fan service. They don't do fuck all. Like they don't contribute to the story or anything, or they're super ditzy and like they don't know what the fuck is going on, and then they're just boobs fly out and they have no reaction because they're dumb. And that I feel like is not what this is. These characters are kind of like ridiculously complicated, and then also this kind of like sexy parody. I mean, it's hard to describe. I would say if there's like an American equivalent, it would kind of be like a hyper version of American Pie, because that was basically all about sex. You know, it was basically about a young adult trying to like get in grips with what the hell it means to like, you know, have sex or be things being sexualized in his life, as that's such like a part of life. You know what I mean? So
and I think like in Prison School, it's just like there's just no level at which they will stoop or stop. Like nothing is sacred. Like every single thing that you can think about dealing with sex or like puberty, they hit it. And it happens on both genders, and it literally punishes everybody and rewards everybody the same. It's just so ridiculous that when you kind of read it, there's definitely like, okay, well, one side is not suffering more than the other, or it's like, or it's just pandering. It's literally like, no, this shit is ridiculous, and we know it's ridiculous. We don't care.
I feel like the theme that's kind of like that we use through all of these series that we say are good is the fact that they kind of like, number one, realize what the hell fan service is and what it is as a device, and they kind of see it from an outside lens. And it is ridiculous in that it's not necessary, but let's fucking put it in anyway.
It's all very self-aware.
Yeah, and also the fact that like they use both genders as opposed to just being one gender. You know, it's a good. It's a hard balance. It's definitely a hard balance.
So we gave really good arguments about why sometimes it's good, sometimes it's funny. It adds things. It's comedic relief, or it aids the plot, or is part of it's integral to the plot. Unfortunately, there's lots of times when it's just like there, and you're like, "What the hell, man? I was just trying to enjoy my anime, and this shit just happened for no fucking reason."
It's true.
So you know, the argument for cons against fan service is that it's generally anti-feminist. It doesn't add to the plot. It objectifies characters or genders for both genders, and sometimes can be inserted jarringly into otherwise a normal plot. There was a really long article on Kotaku recently that got shared around a lot. Actually, I saw it quite a bit last year, talking about fan service and why kind of like it did explore both parts of it. In the article, it does talk about the reduction of women, especially young women who are turned into objects without desire or agency. They're just there. They're just props for the men to play with, to give people to make. It's basically like softcore porn. That's what it's for.
Fantasy fulfilling, basically, but in the worst way, really.
Yeah. So unfortunately, one of the examples that was brought up in this article was Rail Wars, and this is an anime that I try to watch too, because I was like, oh, cool. Like the premise is people who go to school to learn how to be like the ultimate train conductors, and I'm like, that's really niche, and that sounds so neat. Like I want to watch this. Yeah. The first episode, and I was like, fuck this, and for exactly the same reasons as they mentioned in this article. Shannon Kennedy is the director of the San Francisco Zine Fest, and an anime fan, and this is a male, and he mentions that he was so excited about seeing it too, but of course, as soon as 5 minutes in, you just see like a close-up vagina shot of a girl trying to like search a train compartment. You're like, what the hell? Like I thought this was about like it's okay for the girls to be sexy and the boys to be like cute. But like, why are we seeing her vagina for no reason when she's like trying to learn how to be a better train
They're also real like what the fuck, man?
It's
like
so out of the.
Look at them. They're supposed to fucking like run trains. There's really there's no need to make that shit sexy. It's already an unsexy premise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
it's something that like. Whereas, like, you have things that are ridiculous, like Prison School and, like, Shokugeki, where it's like, yes, it's ridiculous, but it's grounded in some kind of reality. This is not grounded in any kind of reality.
And you see a couple anime like this where it's like, what the fuck? Like, and that's unfortunate. And those are the ones you probably shouldn't watch because they didn't. The creators are just like, we just wanted to see sexy girls and we hate our jobs. Like, you know what I mean? They didn't. There was no thought put into it, and that sucks. But, but there's an audience for it. Yes. There are videos that
there are huge audiences
for it. There's audience for it, but, like, sorry, I'm a feminist. Oh, I'm a human being. Like, that sucks. Like, I'm just, like, not into it.
It's one of those things that, like, if you actually want to watch fan service anime that is of highbrow or quality, this is definitely on the bottom. Like, it's just not good.
This is basically the abuses of fan service.
Another really quick example is... in the same article, so Amelia Cook, she's the editor-in-chief of the website animefeminist.com, which you guys should take a look at it. It's I mean, it definitely trends towards, like, all fan service is bad. Yes. When we just talked about how sometimes it can be good and integral to the plot, and it is kind of cultural, too, though we have to admit. But it's important, I think, to know both sides. She mentions in Seven Deadly Sins, which is like this new thing that Netflix is touting as like Netflix exclusive. Like, y'all didn't make that, you licensed it, okay? We know what
they love that.
We know what it is.
They love doing that with anime. It's like
fucking
we
Netflix,
understand.
get your shit together. But like in the first episode, the main character is like, ooh, a woman sleeping. I better make sure she's a woman. I'm gonna like fondle her breasts and like lick her and smell her. It's like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's so like non-consent.
Yeah.
And so on one hand, it's anime. You look at this stuff and you're like, well, it's not real life. It's not supposed to teach us how to be as people. On the other hand, people are watching this and like they're thinking like, oh, this is funny. This is like, it's funny when you do that.
It's basically teaching like that consent is not something that you should ask for. That it's something that, if you didn't ask for it, it's still funny.
Yeah, it can lead to a hilarious situation in which you'll be forgiven for. So like stuff like this is like, again, it's anime, so we shouldn't take it too seriously, but it's also like, but it's a reflection of society. Yeah. So it's like sad. Why anime? Why you do this to me?
It's just very like numbing and normalizing of this, what is technically assault.
I mean, it's there's no argument against that. Like if people feel that way, that's 100% how, and you're totally right. I personally like the series. I don't like that. I don't think that was ever a necessary thing. And they kind of try to explain it off, but it's once again a totally unnecessary thing.
Yeah,
and
it's insertion.
They try to like play it off as him just kind of like being a pervert, but it's like, and that's the problem I feel like is like, it's a very clumsy and like unnecessary way to have that be a character trait. You can be perverted, but you don't necessarily have to direct that at anybody. And it's the whole thing is it's like it's a hard argument, especially because there is a cultural thing, and it sucks because Japan's treatment of women isn't exactly stellar. There's no one has ever said that before. That is Japan is not like a
the 50s.
a female-friendly country at all. And you can see that it's a problem. We're lucky in America because those problems aren't necessarily so big, but at the same time, it's very much there. Yeah. It's not Japan, but like we can't deny it as everybody is equal. Like that's a naive thing to think, especially in our media sort of thing.
Yeah. So in this case, my points were just like it's like morally wrong, but we have other reasons why sometimes fan service is just like what is happening. Max, do you have a good example?
Okay, so this is gonna be a two-parter for sure. Because there's the reason that we decided to even do this topic just in general is because we watched Handshakers and that shit was
bad.
Not only was it visually awful, but like number two, it was like so gratuitous in its fan service, but in the worst fucking way. And the whole premise is like, you like, I guess, I don't know, you fucking shake hands with this woman or like you hold their hands and then you gain these powers and you can't let go because it deactivates some shit like that. I don't remember. Yeah. Because it was trash. But for the most part, like one of the characters, like the main antagonist comes in and it's like this dude that's basically abusing this woman and, like, the whole thing is like S&M culture is kind of another weird part of in this like anime subsection archetype. There's a lot of like S&M like doms and subversives. Like that is a character thing that like kind of runs throughout. And I just feel like in this particular case, without any context, like it's just bullshit. Like it comes out of nowhere and you're like, wow, these are not characters that I ever wanted to ever see. What the fuck is going on? Who the fuck knows? That's super extreme, right? There's no grounding. There's no reason for it to be there, but it is there, and so it's fucking jarring. And then there's also, I feel like the argument of fan service is, for the most part, that's just what people want. It sells. It's just another part. It's like an art form or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, it's not necessarily ever used really well. And Hybrid X Heart's Magika's Academy, which I tried to watch like a second of it because there's like these kind of genre of anime where it's like women that have like mech shit on them, which I feel like is a very interesting concept. This one, unfortunately, is basically just about like they gotta get horny for them to be powerful. That is a dumb fucking premise. Whoever
that's like that's like actual porn premise. Like,
this is like a kind of like. But the whole thing is, it's like if you're gonna fucking be if you're gonna be hentai, be fucking hentai. Like, be your own fucking genre. Don't play this off as like it being any sort of entertainment. I basically feel like it's one of those porns that try to have a story behind it. Like, plumber person. Like, it's stupid.
I really order pizza.
It's literally like, make your decision. Do you want to be hentai or do you want to be ecchi? Like, you can't be somewhere in the middle. It's so muddled and messy and lazy.
And the whole thing is, it's like, it's such a fucking bummer. Because, like, I have seen such good, like, action anime that have, like, this kind of subplot of it. Like, oh, we need sexual power. Fuck, no, you don't. It was good as it was, like there's a great premise to it. There's just like great action, and then all of a sudden you just muddle it with this crap. And I feel like the problem is that fan service is abused to the point where it's just like this fucking lazy device to sell a series from whatever your studio is. And that's basically how I feel about like some shows, like really bad shows that are just pandering to you, like Big Bang Theory. It's kind of like it's like if there was
burn in a fire.
If there was like fan service TV show out there in the world, that would fucking be it. Because all it does is it just throws out things that you know, and you're like, oh, here are references. References without context. Fan service without context is bullshit. And at this point, no one ever fucking falls for it. So it's like, it sucks because like in this anime industry, like I remember there was a point where I'd be like, hey, yeah, I watch anime. Like, you like anime? And they would be like, oh yeah, is that like that weird shit with the cat girls and like the fucking like boobies?
Yeah,
you're like, fuck, that's not what anime is about. Unfortunately,
that sucks, I get that a lot.
Yeah, and we still get that a lot.
Still, yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing as like you said, where it's like Big Bang Theory, where it's just like when you think of nerds, it's like mouth breathing basement dwellers. It's like that's not what geeks and nerds are, you know, and like that is what fan service.
Yeah,
anime.
we're cool. goddammit.
Yeah, look at our hair.
We're trying so hard with our hair. Come on, guys.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just that's like. It's unfortunate because it's this, at this point, really abused device.
Yes.
And anything that's abused or anything that's overused or anything that's fucking just seems lazy, then that shouldn't be a part of the art form, right? We should at least try to push it out. You know what I mean? Just naturally.
Yeah.
Yume has another really good. Oh man, she has a good argument for why everyone's favorite anime is trash. Let's go.
I've said this before. I have such a love-hate relationship with Yuri on Ice. But every single time someone, usually a woman, tries to tell me that Yuri on Ice is somehow groundbreaking in displaying male, like, LGBT relationships, I tell them, no, you're fucking wrong. Yuri on Ice is exactly what fan service anime is, but instead of, like, the usual TNA that they give boys, it's for girls. What is Yuri on Ice? It's literally two dudes usually hugging and jumping into each other's arms in onsen naked to each other and pretending to be like, oh, in love. And I'm like, yeah, but who is this for? The intended audience is not they're not trying to show an actual realistic relationship. It's basically like pecs and butts and abs for women, and they totally fall for it. And to kind of like to kind of just build it up into this thing where it's somehow more meaningful than it is, it's kind of like, I feel like both fans selling themselves short and not being honest about what it is. It's like, if you're gonna shit all over like male fan service anime, you have to acknowledge that Free and Yuri and Ice are doing the same exact thing, but for a female audience.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't ever think that was ever a question.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, it's so weird because you're totally right.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is, in my view as like a dude, I just feel like, oh, that's just sort of like evening the playing field. You know what I mean? In a way?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that like it's evil or anything, don't get me wrong. I super enjoyed Yuri on Ice. I watched the shit out of it. But it's this kind of, from what I'm seeing, is a lot of people saying that no, it's actually much more intelligent and meaningful. I'm like, no. It is not. And these two dudes are not intellectually battling each other and falling in love. They're literally dancing and sitting in an onsen.
On the ice.
Yeah, dancing on the ice, wearing matching uniforms. Like, come on, guys. This is not highbrow.
Okay,
Yeah.
I really liked Yuri on Ice, and I did hear really good stuff from my friends, other fans. But I totally agree with you. But I think the problem is, like, with us three is that we're old as fuck, and we've seen a lot of good, we've seen a lot of great representations of male,
homosexuality.
of like male relationships, like homosexuality. And we've seen a lot of shitty stuff too, where it's like the guys can't like commit to being. They're just like, oh, I don't really like men, but I love you. And I'm like, that's a trope. That's a trope.
It's a trope.
In BL pairs, and I mean that's unfortunate. However, rebuttal to that is that a lot of people who are just getting into Crunchyroll, just getting into the streaming anime, this is the first main title with like pretty good animation. I was told it was bad actually, but I thought it was pretty good animation.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty
good and bad.
Yeah.
It's good in the first 3 episodes.
It's repetitive.
Yeah. But it's the first kind of anime that was very overly homoerotic that people could actually see easily.
Yes.
English subtitles, not shitty animation, clear storyline that other people also that like both genders like they could talk about like in public about in the anime scene, and I think that's what made it so big.
Yeah, I know.
It's this generation's like
I'm
whatever.
like not shitting on the fact that it is totally a phenomenon, and yeah, I think the easy access is what it has given it the platform that it has. But I think it's definitely one of those things where like you don't like today you don't see Scarlett Johansson and go, oh, Ghost in the Shell live action, it's the new Matrix. I was like, no. No. It's like the cycle of Yuri on Ice did not create the genre that it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is very well written, but it is built upon its predecessors, and I think people have to realize that its predecessors are chock full of BL and female fan service.
Again, one more thing in defense is that their relationship is actually integral to the plot, because if Yuri didn't love his coach, he wouldn't try as hard. The whole thing is about him proving himself that his coach's work was worth it or whatever. It's like their relationship is integral to him becoming better.
Absolutely. I don't think them being in an onsen together is totally like a thing that needs to be there.
That's just thrown in for real.
But that's definitely thrown in. But once again, for me, I don't necessarily feel like it's a terribly bad thing, because for the most part, it's like subtle. There's like these hints of it. You know, like if. Like, a good example for me, at least in my head, is Tenchi Muyo, which had that for like little cuts, you know what I mean? And that was probably like the first time.
Yeah, because they had onsen in the place they were living in.
They run an onsen, like basically, so, you know, that's the whole thing is there's, as long as it doesn't over encapsulate everything. Yuri didn't do that. But the whole thing is, as a story about the relationship about two men. However, I don't think it's necessarily the best example, because in a weird way, it doesn't ever cover. It covers ice skating really well, and I think that's a very interesting premise. But the relationship between Yuri and the coach is like not. It's
vague. They leave it vague.
Very
vague. Super vague.
They don't. They're like, they don't ever say like they're in a relationship.
Yeah.
They're like they are in coach-student love with each other, and I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a real coach. Like what is that? You know, like in terms of like good material of exploring homosexual relationships, not the best.
Yeah, example. And that's not the point. Their point wasn't that.
Yeah, and I think it's more so that I don't want people to think that I hate Yuri on Ice. It's that I don't like what the fandom has turned it into and put on this pedestal of like, no, you need to look at it and accept it for what it is. Don't try to make highbrow art out of something that it's very good, but it's definitely not what you think it is. It's definitely fan service.
Yeah. Real quick in chat, thanks Judy Amara, you've been like real vocal. Sorry, we were like really like deep into this. Thank you for your comments. And then Vane, what's up? Lauren Markland, what's wrong with you? She said, come through. Sorry for buffering. I guess to wrap up the segment, we just want to talk about like what's the future of fan service, y'all? What are your thoughts about it?
What the future of fan service?
I mean, like, it's here to stay, man. Like, so just like viewers, like, don't get us wrong. We all like actually like fan service.
We love fan service
when it helps the plot or when it's funny or when it's good, you know?
I mean, personally, I don't even fucking really like fan service at all. Like, I think it's just
empty fan service is the worst.
Yeah. I mean, to be very fair, of the three of us at this table, I think I watch a shit ton of fan service, and I've watched stuff like Queen's Blade and enjoyed it. Queen's Blade is not good.
I hate Queen's Blade
garbage.
so bad.
It's absolute garbage. But
this bitch loves it though.
Yeah,
it's dog
I like
shit.
it. I love Monster Musume. It's absolute garbage. It's like I love.
It's kind of cute though.
Yeah, I love the
cute,
absolute garbage stuff, but I know exactly what I'm getting into, and I know exactly what it is and what its downfalls are.
Yeah, I think fan service is about like. It's like understanding that it's shit. Like it's understanding that it's like you are making me like it at a very base level. But then I guess I'm gonna stay here for the plot and whatever the hell else is going on. Like
sometimes
if it's good enough and you understand like emotionally, like I'm like it's why there's this whole thing about like being garbage. We say like oh, or we would trash because like we acknowledge that the shit we like is really base. Like,
it's very true. It's pop culture in the most pop culture. It's like you would be basic if you like Transformer movies or Michael Bay movies, and you really thought that was higher. Like it's not.
It's not.
Like,
it's
but
like
that doesn't mean you can enjoy it.
Yeah.
But like you know, you have to also acknowledge the fact that you're not gonna fucking win an Oscar for that. You know.
To me,
what I mean?
like the easiest example for females is like it's Twilight. If you like Twilight, good for you. It's not highbrow. It's never going to be intelligent.
We all love trash. We love it.
50 Shades of Grey is a fucking great example, and for some reason, I can't not see fucking 50 Shades of Darker Grayer or whatever the hell it's called everywhere. And the fact of the matter is, that is basically soft porn for women. You know, the whole thing is it's like, media has always been saturated with this shit. Like, that is always a thing that people will kind of like gravitate towards, but like why does it exist? That's the whole problem, is they don't ever ask why it exists. What does it do for the story? What does it do for the characters? What does it do for the fucking series in general? Like, they don't think about that shit, and they just gratuitously show breasts, and that is what we would call poor design.
Yeah.
Yep. We gotta think about this shit. Real quick to wrap up, I want to talk about our favorite, our favorite fan service
Moments.
Yeah. Do you guys have a favorite fan service? So for me, it's not like a moment, but like this series is built on how much fan service has like made people into like trash, and it's what's the I don't know the English title. It's Watashi ga motete dousunda. The I became popular.
Love Kiss Him Not Me.
Yeah, Kiss Him Not Me, which is on the Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole series is about some girl who just loves BL
Fujoshis.
and how she doesn't even give a shit about her own personal love.
Yeah.
The series, the finale ends with her being like, because they all confess to her, like all these like beautiful men in her high school that she loves seeing paired, and she's just like, you know what? I just love my new anime that's coming out next month, and you guys just be with each other because this is my real love. You're asking me like honestly to my heart. I love fictional fake shit. I don't like real stuff I can't deal with, and like to me that's the most real shit that's ever happened.
That's fantastic.
Right?
I think for me, not a moment, but like a series. Well, the beginning of the series is Ore. It's basically My Sister Is Not Cute, which is I hate the ending, so don't watch the ending.
Oh, don't even.
Yeah. But it's basically about a brother and a sister who don't really get along, and then he discovers that his sister's really into like ecchi games about like that are like siscon, like little sister kind of ecchi games, and then he's like, what the fuck? But they bond over it. But there's like it's basically harem. Like his sister depends on him, then her friend, then their other friend, and all these girls just like love him, and I'm just like, okay, whatever.
They end up getting married. Spoilers.
Yeah,
That's why you should never watch it.
Don't watch the end of it. It's
And
terrible.
They're not like step brothers and sisters. They're like
legitimately
legit blood brother and
it's-
sister, and then it
Jesus.
becomes like legit incest.
Yeah.
Why is there so much incest shit in anime?
It's
I've always
because
wondered
it's a
that.
trope.
It's a trope.
It's a
But
trope.
like, why?
It's a fetish. It's a fetish
It's
thing.
a fetish thing.
Oh.
It's a fetish.
So I feel like if you're gonna watch Oremo, watch the entire thing except for that last episode. That last
Yikes.
episode really ruins the entire season.
I feel like that's not even a part of the manga. I think the manga, that's not even a thing that
It's
exists. I think
because-
that was just like them trying to wrap it up in some
Yeah,
fucking way.
it's when I feel like it's what happens when like you pander to people and be like, yes, we're gonna reward all the fans because this is what they really want. I'm like, no, that's not what we want. That's gross. You know, like I don't want that.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah,
No
nobody
one
wants
wants
that. Everybody wants them to just have a very fun relationship and him to go buy his sister some ecchi games about siscons.
No, one.
literally
I
it.
mean, I wouldn't say I would even want that really. I mean, it's cute. It's a cute series.
cute
I remember
series.
watching it, and it's like, oh, it's like them trying to bond over something
Yeah.
really fucking weird, which is in the aspects of like comedy. Yeah, it makes
it's
sense.
funny.
It's a fucking ridiculous premise, hence it's funny. And incest though, not funny.
Yeah,
it's not
so,
funny.
Gross.
Shit, my God, the whole thing is I don't really have like a favorite fan fiction moment. I think
Fan service.
fan service moment, just because like to me that's maybe it's just because I've seen so fucking much of it that like
We're dead inside. Everybody.
I like that
totally-
Max is the one that doesn't like it.
I just totally ignore it. There's nothing about that is ever like I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good fan service. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's never been a thing for me. I don't know why, because I'm very much like I'll watch Madoka. You know, like Madoka, no fan service about girl. It's fucked up. That's my whole thing. It's like dark, well-written shit. Like, I love that. I would say if I had to pick one, I would say fucking High School of the Dead
Oh,
was
yeah.
probably okay.
It was too much for me,
It's
honestly.
too much.
super dumb. It's super dumb, and the breast physics are totally
breast-
ridiculous.
The breast
but
physics.
let me tell you how many great dank memes have come from that.
Yes.
So in terms of like furthering internet meme culture, I give it up to High School of the Dead. To be fair, that High School of the Dead is like an anime mixed with kind of a slasher flick. What is that called? Grindhouse. Like
Grindhouse, yeah.
the style of Grindhouse. So in a stupid way, if you had to justify it, it's like, yeah, it is extreme. It's like Prison School, where like that shit is a part of it because it is a zombie action killing anime. You know what I mean? So yeah,
right.
I gotta hand it out to them.
So we've
dank
got-
memes. That's like
We've got
that's on camera.
Orimo, we've got dank memes, prison school, And I just fucking like girls. I just like Fujoshi, like, as a culture. Everyone, thank you for watching our super weird episode.
Yeah.
We will not be here next week because it's V-Day.
Yeah.
The Valentine's Day.
Got a date with For Honor. That's
He's got a date with his new cat.
His
and my
date is
cat.
with his cat.
Don't
for
say
honor.
that. Don't take that out of context.
Please leave us comments. Let us know what we should name our new show. Should we have a cat episode?
If you
Should
guys
we
have
have a cat?
suggestions
We should
for...
absolutely have cats.
Yes, we should have cats. But if you guys have suggestions for other themes for episodes, please let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
All right, I am Michelle Chubby Bunny. You can find me everywhere on the internet at I am Chubby Bunny.
I am Yumi Warlock. You can find me everywhere at Yumi Warlock, except for Twitter, which I am still Yumi Ninja.
And you can find me at Max Saltz at the everything, Twitter, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah.
Those things. You can find me on it.
Those things.
All right, thanks guys. Keep it fresh. Watch all
Keep
the
it
boobs and
fresh.
butts. See you later. Bye bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.